Yo, what's up everybody? Jumping here, and today I have an amazing Charge Blade build for you guys in Monster Hunter World. This build is just ridiculous. It has crazy damage to it, and it also has amazing survivability, which in my opinion, I think is important. A lot of people just focus on these crazy damage builds, and they don't actually ever talk about survivability. For me, I like to try to combine the two together, get as much damage as possible, but also have the ability to stay alive and not die, because I just think that that is an important aspect of the game. So we're going to go ahead and get started with this, but I'm going to cut this ahead and I'm going to go to the training area and I'll show you exactly what this build can do, and also I will show you everything that you're going to need to actually make this build work. Alrighty guys, well I am currently in the training area and I'm going to show you what this build can do. Now the first thing I just want to say is I am utilizing focus on this build, and because of that, it's actually really good. I love focus on a Charge Blade build. Not a lot of people use it, but it does benefit you a lot. Let me show you the first and main reason why it's good. If you have maxed out focus, if you actually go ahead and hit this pole 4 times, that is all that is required to get the orange file charge. That means that I can store that energy and I would have full files, no problem. That is really awesome. So instead of doing, let's say, charge up and then triangle and then charge up and then triangle, this is what most people do with their Charge Blade build. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is triangle, charge up, and then triangle, and you're good to go at that point. So that is really awesome. Also, if you have your weapon like put away, let's say you're chasing down a monster, you can always just hit triangle. It will do the little lunging attack, the draw attack, and then boom. Now you have full files and you're good to go. Another combo you can do with this is you can actually charge up. Now this one I don't really like all that much, but you can just do this little circle dash move thing. It misses a lot, at least I miss a lot with it, but it is a nice move sometimes just to like kind of maybe get you out. But a lot of times when you're fighting a monster, you will hit the monster with that. And that's another way to do a 4-hit combo and get full files. So that's cool. But another thing I just want to mention is that a lot of times when I'm fighting monsters, I'll actually just do charge and then triangle, and I'll have a full charge. Now, I can't really explain that. The only thing I can think of is maybe there's like a dead body, like a small creature on the ground, and I'm hitting that as well. And so one of my hits is like a double hit, and because of that, all I gotta do is just do the 3-hit combo and then I have the full charge. Maybe that's it. Maybe if I'm hitting certain monsters, I'm actually hitting them twice with one of the hits. I'm not exactly sure, but a lot of times it will only require me to do the main little Charge Blade combo, which is just the hold circle and then triangle, and I'll actually have a full charge off of that, which is just crazy. So focus is a really nice perk to have on a Charge Blade build, because if you're going for discharge, which most Charge Blade builds are all about, building up your files, buffing your shield, and then going for discharge. So if that's what your focus is and that's what you want to do, having focus itself as a perk is going to help you a lot. So let's quickly go ahead and buff up my shield now, and then we can go ahead and demonstrate the discharge. Now this is totally unbuffed, okay, so don't think that, I have all this like attack buff or anything. I have no buffs at all right now. I guess I should sharpen my weapon just because. But I'm going to show you guys on how much damage this can actually do. Hitting this pole is really trolly, especially with discharge, because it's just kind of like funky like that. But let's just see what we get. We get like 300, and there's like another big number in there, maybe another 300. And then all the small hits were 97, and that's unbuffed. When I fully buff up, I've seen those explosions hit for 121 with this build. So yes, they hit extremely hard, and that's just epic. Now, if you remember early on, I was talking about the survivability of this build. The reason why this build has so much survivability is because I'm actually using health regen. And because of that, what is going to happen is when you actually go for a discharge, if you land all the hits and you do a really perfect discharge, you can get like at least 50% of your health back every single time. So staying alive is just really easy with this build because you're constantly getting your health back when you hit, especially with discharge. And if you actually go for medicine jewels, which is going to up that recovery even further, I've actually healed myself with this build for over 80% of my health. So, I mean, that's ridiculous. This is a really awesome build for staying alive and just doing massive damage. So now that I've showed the build, Now we can go ahead and talk about all the gear you're going to need and all the decorations that you're going to want. Now, my version of the build, the first one I'm going to show here, is going to be extremely difficult to mimic. I'm just going to be straight up with you. I have a lot of really hard to get decorations in this build. But I'm not just going to show this build and say, here you go guys, this is what I use, copy it. I'm going to show 3 different versions of this build, 3 that I made, because the first one is the one that I use. It's definitely the best version of the build. But if you can't mimic it because you don't have the decorations, then you can go ahead and use the second version, which will be a lot easier to make. And if you still can't mimic that one because maybe you're still missing some of the decorations, I have a third version, which is going to take one of the perks out, but it still is going to be very viable, very good, and it should be extremely easy to make. So that's the best part about it. I'm going to show you the 3 builds, and hopefully one of those you can actually mimic and copy and actually use, because this is such a fun and amazing build to play with. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you all the gear and I'll show you all the decorations you're going to want to make this build work. Alright guys, so now I'm going to show you exactly what you want if you want to try to copy this version of the build. But remember, this is the version that's going to be the hardest to mimic because it has a lot of really hard to get decorations in it. But I do have the other versions, which are also really good. It's just that with those versions, you're going to have to sacrifice some stuff to make it work. But they're still really good at the end of the day. So hopefully everybody can walk away from this video and actually make a version of this build and be happy with it. So this version, really tough to make, but I'm going to quickly show you what it has on it. It pretty much has everything on it that the other versions have, and it doesn't have to sacrifice anything. That's the big thing. It's going to have attack boost 6 on it. I would like to get attack boost 7, but it's just really not possible. I have focus level 3, which is great. I have peak performance, which is going to give us 20 attack when my health is full. And remember, this build will have health regain on it, so every time I do a discharge, I get like half my health back. So it's really easy to have full health. It has artillery level 3, which is going to give us 30% more attack with our discharge. It has maximum might level 2, which is going to give us affinity. The affinity is all about just countering that negative crit, because when you have a negative affinity, you can actually get negative crits. So when you have a positive affinity, you can get a 25% increase of damage whenever you crit, and you can boost that with critical boost. But if you have a negative affinity, you do have a chance of getting a negative crit, which will actually minus your damage by 25%. So that's a real bummer. So we do want to counter that as best we can. But with this version of the build, we actually have a negative 5% affinity. So there is a chance that we can get a negative crit, but it's very unlikely. It's only a 5% chance that we might get a negative crit. So it really doesn't happen all that often. We also have capacity boost, which is going to give us an extra file, which is really great. And we also have non-elemental boost, which is going to increase our non-elemental weapon damage. And that is awesome because our weapon is non-elemental. The weapon is the Diablos' Charge Blade, which is by far the best Charge Blade in the game just because of its raw attack. Now, if you don't know, when you do your discharge, the only thing that's really going to increase that damage is raw attack. So that is why the Diablos' Charge Blade is so good. It's just because it has such a high raw attack. The biggest downside to it is that negative affinity. It's got negative 30%. And remember, you can get negative crits. So you do want to try to counter that a little bit. I don't think you're going to want to try to get a positive affinity though, because this build is not really all about critting. In fact, your discharge itself cannot crit. Only the initial hit can, and then all the explosions will not ever crit. So you don't need affinity at all. You really just want to maybe try to counter that negative affinities just so that your normal hits will not be doing less damage. But that's it. Now the augmentations I have on this weapon, I have health regain and attack increase. The attack increase is nice, but the health regain is just so good. This weapon is your mega potion. You do not have to constantly stop to use potions and heal. You will pretty much just heal yourself. And even if you don't have peak performance, you should still use health regain because it is just so nice with this weapon. I absolutely love it. Now, from what I've seen, a lot of people are using the Diablos' Charge Blade because it's pretty commonly known that it's the best Charge Blade just because of the raw attack. But from what I've seen, when it comes to augmentations, it seems like a lot of people are using either double attack or attack and affinity. Now I can understand the affinity because they want to get away from that negative affinity and they want to not get negative crits. But the affinity, I just don't really mind having a negative 5% because it's so unlikely to actually get that negative crit to happen. It's very, very rare. It does happen, but it doesn't happen that often. Now, if you have like a negative 10% affinity, it probably would happen a lot more. And if you had negative 30%, it would actually happen a lot. So I get why people go for affinity. But when it comes to the double attack, I have tested this and I just didn't like it, honestly, because there is a lot of diminishing returns and the damage increase just wasn't that dramatic to make me happy. So I definitely think the health regain is just so much better just because it's going to increase your survivability and you're just getting all that health back. You don't have to stop to heal, which is actually going to increase your DPS when you stop to think about it. If you don't have to stop attacking to heal, then your DPS should be higher technically because you're just attacking. I mean, I think it's really great, and I would recommend going for the health regain first. So if you only have so many different warrior stones, I would definitely say go for health regain first, then the attack increase, because the health regain is just so good. Next up for the charm, on this version of the build, I'm using the Unscathed charm, which is going to give us the 2 peak performance. I have a health booster, I have a Rocksteady mantle because those are really good. I have the Nertagante helm alpha. This is going to give us the 2 maximum might and 1 attack boost. The reason why this one is actually good is because of that attack boost. We get 1 level 1 jewel slot, but the attack boost will save us an attack jewel. And attack jewels are rare. I personally think they are rarity 9 and not 7 because they just never drop for most people. The chest piece is the Damascus mail, which is going to give us 2 focus and 3 level 1 jewel slots, which is just really epic. The gloves we're using is the Diablos Nero braces, which is going to give us 1 focus plus a level 2 jewel slot and a level 1 jewel slot. So that's really cool. We're using the Vow belt, which is going to give us 1 peak performance, which will give us 3 peak performance because of the necklace, and this will give us 2 level 1 jewel slots. And finally, and I hope I don't massacre this, but I probably will, the Dolgama Greaves, which is going to give us the capacity boost and 1 level 1 jewel slot. So that is all the armor. Now it's time for the decorations, and this is the part that is hard to mimic. So with this build, I have 3 artillery jewels and I have 5 attack jewels, and then the 1 elementalist jewel, which is going to increase our non-elemental damage. Now obviously 5 attack jewels are tough to get. For the longest time I only had 1 attack jewel and I was super salty about it. But for whatever reason, recently, I've actually been getting attack jewels more. I've gotten like 4 in the last 3 days, so I've been getting lucky, I guess, but it's just something. It will happen, guys. If you only have 1 now, or if you only have 2, you will get them. Just keep playing, keep grinding. It will happen for you. Now, the other jewel that might be hard to get is the artillery jewel. This is rarity 8, so I'm assuming that not a lot of people have 3 of these. So if you don't have 3 of these, this will not work for you, obviously. Same with the attack jewel. Now, if you do have the 3 artillery jewels, but you don't have a lot of attack jewels, you could still use this version of the build. Just go ahead and use the 3 artillery jewels, use as many attack jewels as you have, and then the rest of the jewels can be like medicine jewels. That's going to increase your health recovery, and that will actually help you out for when you attack with the discharge. It's going to increase the amount of health you get back from the attack, and that's really good. So this would still work if you have the artillery jewels, but I'm assuming that not a lot of people probably have 3 artillery jewels and 5 attack jewels. So that's why this build is so hard to mimic. But in the future, if you can get these jewels, this is definitely the version of the build I personally think you want, because it has the focus, it has the health regain, it has the peak performance, it has the attack. I mean, it has everything. So this is just amazing. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the other versions of this build that are a lot easier to copy and mimic. So the second version of this build is going to have a little bit of different armor. First thing here is the artillery charm, because not a lot of people have artillery jewels, and this will give you the 3 artillery. The helmet is the Dragon King eye patch, which has weakness exploit on it, Now, weakness exploit will counter that negative affinity, but you have to aim for the weak point, which I normally don't do, to be quite honest with you. I just go in and start attacking and trying to discharge. So you're going to get some negative crits. It's going to happen with this build, unless you're hitting the weak point, that is. So keep that in mind, but we're not really using this helmet for the weakness exploit. We're actually using it for the jewel slot. That's what we want. We want the jewel slot because it has a high level jewel slot. Next up, we're using the Doppler mail. It's going to give us 2 attack, which is great, and a high level jewel slot. So that's one of the reasons we're using it. We're using the Vow gauntlets, which are just really good. They're going to give you the 1 peak performance plus 3 level 1 jewel slots. And we're using Nertigante belt, which is going to give us 2 attack and a level 2 jewel slot. And finally, it's the same pants with the capacity boost. Next up, let's go ahead and talk about the decorations. Now for this one, this is definitely a lot easier to mimic. All my friends, it seems like everybody I know, they all have a lot of flawless jewels. So these seem to be pretty common. They do drop a lot. It's going to give you peak performance. So we're going to be using 2 of these jewels and we're going to have 3 peak performance. The thing we do not have on this build is focus. So keep that in mind. But is it really important to have focus? It's nice, but it's not like the end of the world if you don't have it. And having that increased attack is probably better, to be quite honest. So it's just something to consider. So with this version, we have the peak performance. We have pretty much everything that we had with the other version. The only thing we don't have is the focus. That's it. That's the main thing we're sacrificing here. And also, we don't actually have the maximum might, but we do have the weakness exploit, so that's something as well. But with this version, we have 6 attack boosts, we have the 2 medicine jewels, and we have the elementless, and we have the 3 peak performance. So there you go. I think this is a lot easier to mimic. If you don't have the flawless jewels, though, I do have one more version of this build, but I'm just assuming that a lot of people might actually have these just because all my friends, including myself, we all have a ton of these because they seem to be fairly common. And also, when it comes to like the medicine jewels and stuff, if you do have 3 attack jewels, you could throw them in here and just use 1 medicine jewel. Or if you only have 1 attack jewel, you can use 3 medicine jewels and then 1 attack jewel. It's up to you on how you want to do it, depending on your jewels. But there you go. Now the final version of this build, this version should be really easy to copy and mimic. Now with this version, we're giving up the peak performance. We're not going to have that. But we're going to be using the artillery charm. We have the Nertigante helm alpha. We have the same setup, really. We have the Damascus mail, Diablos' gloves. The only other difference is the Nertigante coil, which is going to give us the attack and the level 2 jewel slot. And we still have the same boots. Now for this version, we're not going to have that high of an attack boost either. We're only going to have a 4 attack boost, and we gave up the peak performance. Now, the reason why we only have a 4 attack boost is because I'm just going to assume that if you don't have a lot of jewels, you're probably not going to have a lot of attack jewels, but everybody does have 1 attack jewel. So with this version, you can use the attack jewel, and then the rest of the jewels can be medicine jewels, vitality jewels. The mighty jewel, I put that in there, but this can really be anything you want it to be. It doesn't have to be a mighty jewel. You obviously do want to have the elementless jewel, though. That is important. And also, having the mighty jewel is nice because this will actually give you that positive affinity for when your stamina is full, so you don't have to worry about negative crits anymore. So that's pretty good. But if you do have more attack jewels, you can throw them in here as well. Maybe like just take out the vitality or the medicine. It's up to you on which one you want to take out. But this is a really easy version of the build to actually copy and mimic for pretty much everybody. All these jewels I'm showing here are very common. They're very easy to get. And all you gotta do is just make the armor, really. The medicine jewel is super common. The vitality jewel is super common. And everybody does have at least 1 attack jewel. And like I said, don't need the mighty jewel. You do need the elementless jewel. But you can put anything you want in here. So that's going to pretty much do it for the build. Now I'm going to go and fight some real monsters. And you can actually see for yourself what this build can do. It absolutely destroys pretty much everything in the game. There's a couple random monsters that can be a little bit trolly with this build, but that's pretty much it. But everything else, you're just going to absolutely decimate. Alrighty guys, it is time to actually go and test out this build against some actual monsters. This is the optional quest where we have to fight 4 different monsters, so that should be actually really epic to really demonstrate what the build can do. Unfortunately, 2 of these monsters can be kind of annoying to hit with the charge blade because they like to move around a lot, but I'm not too worried about it. I did bring my trap cat, or my flash cat, just because I know that might help me out a little bit. But let's go ahead and get this started because this should be a lot of fun. Now remember, because of focus, we only actually have to hit the monster 4 times, which is really great. I mean, that is great if the monster doesn't move out of the way immediately. So, got our first buff here. Let's go ahead and charge our shield and get obliterated, of course. Load my flash pods as well. Now, for whatever reason, when you flash her, she likes to stand still a lot. Alright, let's just go for a discharge here. We should get a good one. And we should get our health back as well. Got most of it back, but I didn't get a full hit on her. And she is back in the air. Okay. Cool. And she's back in the air again. I guess I'm going to need to flash her down. Okay, let's go ahead and go for it. This is probably going to miss, although she roared. If she roars, that's her mistake, because when you have Rocksteady, that's a free hit. Rocksteady is great. Okay, I'm just going to flash her again, because she's going to keep trying to freaking fly and stuff. Alright, we should be able to get a discharge off here. Come on, let's get it. Boom! And now she's down. She's in trouble now. Whenever they go down, they are in a lot of trouble because you get a free discharge and it's going to probably kill her. Let's see. Nope, but I know she's weak. I know she is super weak right now. Come on. Oh, I got her. Oh, and I knocked her down too. Okay, let's do it. This should be death right here, and she is a goner. So, that was a really nice fight there. Now, for whatever reason, and I really can't explain it, sometimes you will actually be able to get your full buff with the files just off of 3 hits. Like, I don't know why. And then other times it's 4. I'm assuming it might be either A, I'm hitting multiple parts of the monster, like multiple times, and it's actually counting as like 2 hits. And the other thing is maybe I'm hitting other like small creatures or something. But it is random, but it does happen a lot. So it's just something I've noticed. Okay, let me use a Might Seed here. And I'm going to tell my cat to put out a trap. And I am going to actually throw down a pitfall as well. This should actually help us for this. And let's make some flash pods because we have Rathalos to deal with coming up. And we want to have them. It's always a good idea. If you're going to fight flying monsters, bring flash bugs with you. That way you actually have 13 flash pods, because that's going to help big time. Alright, so here he comes. Now, if I hit him with 4 discharges, I'm going to say he's going to die from that. And 3 of them might knock him down, so the 4th one will be free. That would be really cool if we can get that. Let's try to buff off of him real quick. So, there we go. Thank you very much. I don't want to go for it because I know he's going to stop me. And if I would have went for it, he would have roared, and that would have stopped me. That's always, like, annoying when they roar or something to knock you out of discharge. I hate it. I hate it so much. All right, let's go ahead and go for the discharge on him. Boom! That was a good hit on him. 116 for all the shockwaves, as you can see. Very, very nice. And the shield is no joke, guys. The shield is amazing, so you definitely want to use it to help you block and not take damage. It works so well against a lot of different enemies. This guy being one of them, obviously, because he freaking is annoying with all his jumping around. Alright, yo, I think I stunned him long enough. Oh, yeah, there we go. You know what? If I flash him, what the heck happened to him there? I guess my cat hit him or something. Alright, we got him with the flash pod. So, oh, he's dead. Okay, I did not expect him to die that fast, but he legitly died. Okay. I'll take it, though. I'll take anything. But he's probably the worst enemy here just because of the fact he moves around like he does, and it can be very hard to hit him. But if you practice with your Charge Blade, you'll get good at pretty much kind of predicting where enemies are going to go and how to actually hit them. And that's what it really any weapon, even the Greatsword, which is another weapon that can be very tough to honestly use, just because you have to really get used to how to swing it. But any weapon, it doesn't matter what it is, you should be good. I'm actually going to throw some bombs out right here just for fun. Let's see what happens exactly. And let's tell the kitty cat to put down a trap as well. And let's go ahead and rebuff, because Diablos is next, and he is another enemy that can be annoying because of the way he moves. He loves to move around a lot, and you'll miss a lot of discharges on him because you're going for it, and all of a sudden he's just taking off to get your cat or another player. In multiplayer, the charge blade can definitely be a little bit frustrating at times because you're going for your discharge and you feel like you're going to get it, and all of a sudden the monster's like, nope, I want to go across the map to try to hit this random person using the bow or whatever it might be. Bow guns and bows, anything ranged is like a nightmare for you. Oh, I do have not flash pods, screamer pods. I hope this will be a free discharge if I can do it right. Come on. There we go. We got him. Let's go. Okay. Free discharge, baby. Okay, right there, I got a negative crit, and that's a big bummer. It's such a low chance of that happening, but it can happen, so, just keep that in mind. All right, come at me. Got him. Okay, where's the lever? There it is. Let's drop this boulder on him. Come on. Get him, and we can get a free discharge if we do. I didn't get the freaking bomb? Really? Well, whatever. Maybe we can use the bomb against Rathalos. I'm not sure. But I'm about to use the Dragonator as well, because that will obliterate this guy. Uh-oh. Okay, if I can, I'm gonna block it. That's the beauty of this. Just block it. You don't need to worry about dodging it or screamer potting him, although I would have never got that off in time. Alright, whatever. Let's just go for it. Come on. We detonated the bomb there. No! No, 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 no. Block! And I got him! Okay, so the bombs did actually help. What am I doing? I already have a charge. Why did I do that? I don't know. Okay, if he doesn't hit me here, you gotta be joking, right? I hit his tail. No, 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 don't come at. Yeah, and he's dead. Ooh, that was a close one, man. I thought he was going to get me. Also, by the way, not only can you charge up your files on the dead body, you can also heal yourself with the health regen on a dead body, so you really don't need potions if you can kill the enemies like this. That's the beautiful part about it. Okay, let's load up our flash pods now, and I'm gonna also rebuff just because Rathalos, oh man, he can be a troll at times. Like, honestly, he is really easy with the charge blade if you can knock him down with the flash pod and then hit him with the discharge. But sometimes he'll poison you, he will set you on fire, and he just can annoy you. Hopefully my Rocksteady will be back too by the time I actually engage him, because I don't want to get roared on. I really don't. Okay, come on. You know you want to fly. And there's the roar. Yay. Alright, and he's going up. And he's coming down into the trap. Okay, I'll take it. There's another. Is that another trap down, or is that the same one that got him? I am so confused right now. No, that was the trap that got him. Okay. I'm not used to using the flash cat because I haven't used this cat in a long time. I gotta be honest. I always use the buff cat now. Okay. Ooh, Rocksteady. Wait, what am I doing? I should have been trying to hit him. Well, whatever. Actually, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna flash you. And we're gonna go for a discharge here. Let's get it. And you're jumping in the air. Luckily, we had Rocksteady and it didn't really do anything. But it did poison us. So here we go with the BS. And he gonna fly. And we need to make flash pods. What's he doing? Why did he land? I'm actually really confused by that. Normally he doesn't land like that. Alright, let's hit him with the discharge. Uh-oh. He's in trouble. Let's go ahead and buff up. And we should get this off for free. We still have a trap out if we need to use it. Oh, he's down again. This is what I'm talking about with Rathalos. If you can get this going, he's going to get obliterated by the charge blade. This should kill him. Let's see if this kills him. Yep, it got him. Okay, so as you can see, this build is just epic. What I really love about it the most, though, is the fact that it combines offense, which obviously the offense is insane. But it combines that with defense because you have the health regain, you have the shield because it is a charge blade, you can block attacks. It's really, really good. And it's just a lot of fun to play, especially when you get good with it and you practice with it and you do all the combos and you learn how to constantly hit enemies with your discharge properly. It is just amazing. There is no doubt about it. Alrighty guys, so that's going to pretty much do it for this video. I really hope that this has helped and that you have liked it. If you have, will you please hit the like button for me? It really does help and I really do appreciate it. Also, be sure to subscribe for future videos. I have a ton of build videos coming up and I'm going to try to do as many as I can, as quickly as I can. But that's going to pretty much do it. So I hope that everyone has a very nice day and peace out.